An Everman ISD teacher's aide was on her way to work when she was murdered in a road rage shooting. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager. The man accused of killing her was tracked to his job in Justin. That's where he was taken into custody. Patrick Lawrence told police the victim was tailgating him. Fox 4's Dion Anglin joins us now.
It was just after 6:30 in the morning. Rush hour on I-20 in Fort Worth. Everybody half asleep, coffee in hand. Just try and get to work. And in one of those cars was a woman named LaTaivia Davis, 34 years old, a teacher's aide who spent her days helping little kids with their art projects at E-Ray Elementary School. She had no idea that this ordinary drive, this drive she probably made 100 times before, was about to be her last. Because somewhere on that highway, near Trail Lake Drive, another driver pulled up right next to her car. And in the next few seconds, a single gunshot changed everything. Before we get into what really happened out there, if you're new here, welcome to Shadow Crime. Look, I put hours into digging up every real detail on cases like this one, verifying it, laying it out for you, so you're not getting fed rumors. If that's the kind of channel you want to be part of, the least you can do is hit subscribe and tap that bell icon. I say this every time because I mean it. It genuinely helps this channel keep going, and it costs you nothing. Okay, let's get into it. So, who was LaTaivia Davis? People who knew her say she wasn't just an employee at that school. She was somebody who showed up. She worked with the children's ministry at her church, the Vision Church of Fort Worth. She sang in the youth choir. She did outreach for people without homes in her community. The folks there had a nickname for her. They called her TT. One woman who knew her for years said it stood for a mix of fire, goodness, and quietness all rolled into one person. That's not the kind of thing people say about someone they barely knew. That's the kind of thing people say about someone who left a mark. She had a sister, 2 younger brothers, a whole life outside of that car on I-20 that morning. And that's what makes this so hard to sit with. Because on any other day, she's clocking in at E-Ray Elementary, helping some kid finish a drawing, and going to church on Sunday like she always did. But that Thursday, August 13th, 2026, was not any other day. Investigators say Davis was driving eastbound on I-20, heading toward work, when something happened between her car and another vehicle, a dispute. The kind of thing that happens on highways every single day and usually ends with nothing more than someone flipping the bird and driving off. But this time, it didn't end there. This time, somebody had a gun. And in the next part, I'm going to walk you through exactly what investigators say happened in those final moments, because the details in the arrest affidavit are honestly hard to believe.
An Everman ISD teacher's aide was on her way to work when she was murdered in a road rage shooting. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager. The man accused of killing her was tracked to his job in Justin. That's where he was taken into custody. Patrick Lawrence told police the victim was tailgating him. Fox 4's Dion Anglin joins us now with more on how it all happened and how the suspect was identified. Dion.
Yes, Steve, the details, according to court documents, give a glimpse into what happened on the freeway Thursday morning and how police tracked down the man who they have charged with the road rage killing. Investigators tracked down 37-year-old Patrick Lawrence at his job in the city of Justin using a combination of technology and witness statements. The arrest affidavit mentions another vehicle equipped with a dash camera recorded the freeway shooting that killed teacher's aide, 24-year-old LaTaivia Davis, who was driving a red sedan. Fox 4 cameras captured this company truck throughout the investigation scene with a camera mounted on its windshield. The arrest affidavit also references this unusual scene. Police cadets from recruit class 162 scouring Interstate 20 for evidence. One cadet located a single 9mm casing near the Granbury Road exit. Early on, With the help of the witnesses and the department's real-time crime center, police knew they were looking for a blue Volkswagen SUV. The license plate indicated it was registered to Lawrence. Within a short time, a surveillance team was set up and watching his job, where he was detained while leaving for lunch. The affidavit says Lawrence agreed to speak with them about what happened on the freeway. He said he was leaving for work on South Hewland Street and needed to get from the left lane to the right lane to access the on-ramp for I-20. He says when he got in the far right lane, he was in front of a red sedan. The red sedan began to tailgate his vehicle as he started to enter the highway. The red vehicle quickly merged left, cutting across the white on-ramp markings to the left side of the highway. Lawrence then told investigators he could not see inside the red vehicle because the windows were tinted dark. As the vehicle passed, he pulled out a 9mm Canic pistol and fired one shot toward the red vehicle. Patrick, according to the affidavit, observed that his gunshot struck the red sedan's passenger window. Patrick said he immediately exited the highway and proceeded to work. When questioned by police, Lawrence told them the 9mm handgun was still in his car. Police found the gun loaded with ammunition matching the casing found on the highway. LaTaivia Davis attended the Vision Church of Fort Worth. The church has made several posts about the Everman ISD teacher's aide, including this one, noting heaven gained an angel and we lost a jewel. Now, Lawrence remains in jail and currently no bond is set.
So let's get into what actually happened out there. According to the arrest affidavit, Patrick Lawrence, 37 years old, told investigators he was driving to work that morning too. He said he pulled into the far right lane on South Hewland Street, getting ready to merge onto I-20. And that's when, according to him, a car behind him started tailgating. Real close. The kind of close that makes your stomach tighten a little when you check your mirror. He said that car, a red sedan, then swerved to the left and cut across the white on-ramp markings to get onto the highway ahead of him. Now think about that for a second. That's a maneuver a lot of us have probably seen. Maybe even done ourselves in a hurry. Annoying, sure. Rude, absolutely. But nowhere close to something that should end in gunfire. Lawrence told police he couldn't see inside that red vehicle. The windows were tinted too dark. So as it passed him, he said he pulled out a 9mm Canic pistol and fired one shot toward it. One shot. That's all it took. Inside that red vehicle was LaTaivia Davis. The bullet went through her window and struck her in the upper arm. First responders got to her fast. They tried everything they could right there on the highway, but it wasn't enough. She was pronounced dead at the scene at 52 minutes past 6 that morning. Now here's where it gets even harder to process. Lawrence didn't stop. He didn't call anyone. According to the affidavit, he got off the freeway and just kept going, straight to work, like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, 3 witnesses who saw the whole thing unfold pulled over and rushed to help Davis, doing what they could while waiting on paramedics. Sit with that for a second. While strangers were kneeling next to her car trying to save her life, the man who pulled the trigger was driving to clock in for his shift. Investigators found a fired shell casing near the Granbury Road exit. A witness's dashcam had captured the whole thing, including a clear look at a blue vehicle speeding off toward that exit right after the gunshot. That footage became the key that cracked this case wide open, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it led police straight to him in the next part. But I want to ask you something first. If you were driving and someone cut you off, tailgate you, did something reckless on the highway, would it ever cross your mind to reach for a weapon? Because for most of us, the answer is obviously no. So what turns an everyday traffic dispute into a decision like that in a matter of seconds? That's the part of the story that I think we all need to sit with.
As you heard, we start with breaking news tonight. Fort Worth police say they just arrested the suspect for this morning's deadly road rage shooting. Good evening. I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Family says an Everman ISD teacher's aide was the woman killed in that shooting. Police say it happened on Interstate 20 near the Hewland Mall. Investigators say the driver and the shooter is Patrick Lawrence, 37 years old. That's his picture. Fox 4's David Santendry has the latest breaking news from police. David.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, police announcing that arrest 14 hours after the shooting that took place this morning. And in a social media post, the police department releasing a photo that we have of that suspect. Want to show it to you right now. The suspect, 37-year-old Patrick Lawrence, arrested and charged with the murder of LaTaivia Davis, a local educator. The department says their hearts go out to her family and loved ones. In a social media post to the app X, Fort Worth PD says its real-time crime center and surveillance team was involved in the investigation. That usually involves flock and security cameras. You can tell police really wanted to get this info out as soon as possible because it's somewhat rare for the department to share a photo of a suspect in handcuffs, especially before that suspect is even booked into jail. I-20 near Granbury Road shut down Thursday morning while Fort Worth Police Department investigates a deadly road rage shooting.
Upon arrival, officers located an adult female with a gunshot wound.
Sky 4 video appears to show police collecting evidence from the victim's car. Ground video appears to show a bullet hole on the bottom of the front passenger seat window.
After speaking to witnesses, officers learned that the victim and the suspect were traveling near this location, eastbound.
Police call it road rage. The suspect reportedly pulling up to the victim, firing multiple shots. The woman was struck and killed. Her family identifies her as LaTaivia Davis, a teacher's aide for Everman ISD. The school district's website says she worked at E. Ray Elementary School.
I had no idea that the young lady that came here was the victim.
Lee Diaz first heard about the shooting Thursday morning, but not until speaking with us did he learn it involved an educator of the school across the street from his home.
I was in shock.
Diaz, like many others, believes road rage is becoming all too common and says he's had to remind his kids to do whatever they can to avoid it.
Best thing to do, ignore it. It can't be that big of a deal. Just let it go, move on.
We do not know what exactly led to Thursday's deadly road rage, but whatever the case, Diaz says it's heartbreaking that a young woman lost her life.
I really got to feel bad for the parents.
Lawrence has prior drug charges and an assault charge out of Tarrant County. Again, all this is developing this evening within the past 30 minutes or so. So we're hoping that tomorrow we can get some more information, maybe court documents like an arrest warrant affidavit, which would detail exactly how investigators were led to this suspect. Steve?
Hey, David, I'm wondering, this guy probably hasn't said anything or talked yet, but over the course of the day, did they get any witnesses who could say kind of how it played out, what happened between the two, if anybody witnessed some kind of confrontation on the road?
Yeah, that's a great question, Steve, especially because in road rage situations, you have people driving 60, 70, 80 miles per hour on a freeway, and a lot of times they're too busy concentrating on their vehicle and traffic instead of seeing the madness that potentially might be going on around them. But when we spoke with Fort Worth Police Department earlier, they did say they spoke with witnesses who described this suspect pulling up to that woman's car and firing multiple shots toward her. So it'll be interesting to see how many witnesses they spoke to and if there's any information from those witnesses in those court documents.
So how did police actually track this guy down? It all came back to that dashcam footage. A witness who happened to catch the whole thing on camera gave investigators a clear look at that blue vehicle fleeing the scene. And from there, it didn't take long. Police identified Patrick Lawrence as the owner of that Volkswagen. They found him at his workplace in Justin, more than 30 miles from where the shooting happened. He was just leaving for his lunch break, walking out to his car like it was any other Thursday, when officers stopped him. And right there in plain sight, sitting in the driver's side door pocket, was a handgun. Here's the part that really gets me. When detectives approached him, Lawrence didn't fight it. He didn't lawyer up on the spot, according to the affidavit. He spoke with them voluntarily and gave them permission to search his vehicle. He told them exactly where the gun was. And when they tested it, it matched the shell casing recovered on the highway. Think about that timeline for a second. 6:40 in the morning. He fires a shot on I-20. By early afternoon, he's sitting in the Tarrant County Jail, charged with murder. That is fast police work. And honestly, it's the kind of thing that should make all of us feel a little safer knowing cases like this don't just go cold. Lawrence was booked into the Lon Evans Correction Center. Bond was set at $300,000. As of the most recent updates, it's still unclear whether he's hired an attorney. Meanwhile, back at Everman ISD, the school where Davis worked, they brought in grief counselors for staff and students who were struggling to process what happened. And over at the Vision Church of Fort Worth, the pews felt a little emptier that Sunday. One member said it plainly. Never in a million years would she have thought someone she knew would be killed over road rage. Never. And that's really the twist in this whole case, isn't it? Not some elaborate conspiracy. Not some hidden motive we're all waiting to uncover. Just two strangers on the same highway at the same moment, and one of them made a decision in a split second that can never be undone. So here's what I want you to think about. What actually happens in someone's mind in those 2 or 3 seconds between feeling annoyed on the road and pulling a trigger? Is it pure impulse? Is it something that's been building in a person long before they ever get behind the wheel that day? And how many of us have been in Patrick Lawrence's exact position, tailgate, cut off, angry, and just never had access to a gun in that moment? That's the uncomfortable truth about road rage cases like this one. It's not about monsters. It's about ordinary people and ordinary anger meeting extraordinary consequences. I want to hear what you think. Drop it in the comments below. And if this case affected you the way it affected me, do me a favor. Hit subscribe, tap that bell so you don't miss the next update on this case, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. This is Shadow Crime, and I'll see you in the next one.